Hey there, it's Ian Koniak, and today I'm going to share 4 steps to becoming a trusted advisor to your clients. So let's start off by defining what is a trusted advisor. Well, the name implies it all. It's someone who clients trust and come to for advice. Advisors give advice in areas that they know about. So if I have a problem with my skin, for example, I would go to a dermatologist as a trusted advisor to get help for that. If I have a problem with exercising and I want to build muscle, I would go to a personal trainer or someone who's very fit for advice. So the question is, how do you become an advisor for your clients? Because advisors are people who clients want to pay money for to get their advice, right? They're not just coming for free advice. They're actually willing to invest to get the help to solve the problems they have. So let's talk about the 4 steps to become that trusted advisor and what they look like. Now, I warn you, these are not quick fixes. They're not easy. These take time, but if you follow this process, you will see a massive difference in how your clients react to you, how they receive you, how they engage with you, because ultimately, trusted advisors, people are leaning in and listening versus sales reps who are pitching and trying to sell. Big difference, right? Trusted advisors pull in clients where sales reps that are pushing are pushy and they repel clients. So number one is you need to become an expert on the problem that you solve for clients. You see, clients don't come to you because they're looking for a solution. They want to buy something. They're coming to you because they have a problem that they're trying to solve, and they think potentially your company may be able to help them. So before you go and learn your product or learn how to demo or learn all the things it can do, you're much better off learning what are the problems that lead people to actually sign with you or your company. So here's a few ways you can do that. Number one is you can learn customer stories. One of the first things I did at Salesforce is I watched a lot of the videos on Dreamforce Live, which is the YouTube channel, and I'd look at all the customer stories that were before and after stories of how Salesforce had helped specific clients. Now, if you sell to a particular industry, if you could have that industry focus or at least understand how you've addressed these problems in their industry, it's only going to enhance your credibility. That's the first way. The second way is talk to clients. If you're privileged to have any current customers that you're selling to, before you try and pitch anything new, go to your current clients and ask them, what was life like before working with our company? What problems did you have? And then how does our solution actually help you? And what value are you getting from that? So just actually interviewing the current clients and seeing how you've helped them is a great way to learn about the problems. But don't just talk about how your solution is being used. Talk about the before state, what it was like before they actually started working with you, so you can get an in-depth idea of what they were dealing with before. And the third way to become an expert in the problem you solve is use the product. Use the product yourself. So for any company, if you're not drinking your own champagne, if you're not using your own products or services, how the hell do you expect the sales reps to be able to effectively talk about it? The beautiful thing about Salesforce is we drank our own champagne. So I could go to my clients and I could show them, here's how we do quoting in the tool, and here's how fast it is to do a quote. Or I can say, here's how we submit a ticket when I need to go on PTO or I need anything. Here's the knowledge base I can look on. And I was selling all these solutions that we were showing clients. So I could show our dashboards, I could show our team dashboards. That is key. If you are able to show the client how your company uses it to achieve desired outcomes and solve problems. In our case, for example, the problem was it took a long time to submit a request for IT or HR, and I could show them how quick it was by doing it online and getting real-time updates and finding knowledge articles where maybe I didn't even need to submit a ticket. So that's an example of drinking your own champagne. So that's step one. Become an expert on the problem you solve. Learn customer stories, talk to customers, and then use the product yourself. Step two, once you are more of an expert in the problem you solve, you need to be an expert on teaching teaching the clients, okay? That's step 2. Teach and educate them. You see, if clients already have a problem, they're already coming to you, it's probably competitive. At that point, you're gonna have to be in a situation where you're competing and price becomes more important and all the vendors sound the same, it becomes much harder. But if you're teaching and educating them and getting to them first and making them aware of a problem they didn't know they had, then you're the one they're gonna wanna work with for a solution. And 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna go to bid. They're not gonna look at competitors because you're the one who's bringing that value of making them aware of a problem they didn't know they had. So the key to becoming a great teacher is develop a point of view. And a simple framework I use for developing a point of view with any problem is the 5 Ps, okay? The 5 Ps stand for problem, primary reason, pain, okay? And then promise and payoff. So the problem is, what is the problem? What is the pain that it's causing? And what is the primary reason, for the problem? Those are the first ones. And then you can talk about how your company helps solve the problem. So the promise and the payoff. I'll just give you a quick example. So if I'm selling my coaching services, I'll say the problem that most individual sales reps face is that they're not working a full day on revenue generating activities, and that's actually leaving them feeling upset at night, and they beat themselves up and they're not getting the results they want because the main reason is because there's a lot of distractions throughout the day. They feel overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. And a lot of times they're pulled in a lot of different directions from their company and their clients, and they just don't have that time to focus on revenue generating activities. Now, if they decide to work with me, what I teach them is how to prioritize, and I teach them time management, what to say yes to, what to say no to. And the payoff is, on average, people spend about 2 to 4 hours on revenue generating activities, but once they've gone through my program, it goes to 6 or 7 hours on average because they know where to focus their time, they know what to do, and they say no to the rest. And as a result, on average, they are, hitting their goals and far exceeding, their wildest income dreams. So I just explain the problem, why it exists, and the pain it's causing, and how my program can help. That's just a perfect example. So do the same thing for your specific solution, and that's your point of view. Here's the problem many companies in your industry face. Here's why it's a problem, and here's how it's impacting them. Here's how we can address the problem as an organization, and here's what you can expect if you work with us. So following that framework, okay, at that point, clients either have the problem or it resonates or they don't. Now, step 3 is at that point, you're already attracting them. You're already pulling in because you're an expert. It's like, wow, this person knows what he's talking about. And they're gonna wanna share their situation with you. You can't go and just ask a bunch of questions and pepper someone with interrogation and long discovery if they don't have context for what you do. So when you educate, when you teach, what you're doing is you're making people aware of a problem they didn't know they had, and you're providing a compelling reason to take action. And that's what actually puts people in the market, is when they learn something from you, not when you're trying to sell. So instead of talking about your product and all the things you do, talk about the problem, why it exists, and the pain it's causing. That will then let clients lean in to want to work with you. Now, at that point, step 3 is you just need to validate if they have that problem. Listen and understand and really be curious to see if they qualify as a good fit for your solution or for your company to work with. If they don't have a problem with time management, for example, if they're a rep that's super happy, they're doing well, they're dialed in, I'd say, like, well, why do you need coaching? What's not working, right? So it's like, well, why are you talking to me if everything is great, right? And if there really isn't any problem that you can solve, or if they're in a good situation, then go spend your time elsewhere. Without a problem with pain, right? You're really kind of wasting your time, right? No matter what, at the end of the day, your client needs to want to work with you. So step 3 is really just understanding and assessing their current situation, right? That means talking to them, seeing where it's at, and it also means going deeper with discovery to talk to their people, to see what it's really like at the ground level, see where they're spending time and energy and effort on things that you could automate or streamline with your software. And once you've done that, step 4, right, is when you propose back. The mistake most people make is when they have a client that has a problem and has a lot of pain, they jump into the solution. When they go back and they actually demonstrate the solution and how it's going to work, and they talk about the pricing that they have, then the deal goes dark and they're like, well, what happened? They have a problem. I showcased my product great, and yet the deal is stalling, okay? The reason why is because you're focused too much on the product itself and the demo itself and the solution itself. You see, I'm not the reason why people, decide to get coaching. I'm part of the reason, but really it's the whole program, okay? It's our plan and how we take them from where they are today to where they want to go. So what you want to do in step 4, once you understand, okay, what the problem is that they have in detail, once you've qualified that they're a good fit, you want to show them a detailed plan on how you would go about solving the problem. So in the example that I gave you for like the dermatologist, right? I would hope for a skincare plan that I could do to improve my skincare. Or if I had, any kind of condition, acne or whatever, I'd want to get medication. I'd want a face washing regimen. I just hired a personal trainer. I'm seeing him 3 days a week. And we have a plan that he has me following every day to improve my mobility, my strength training. And he gave me a plan in detail. He told me how long it's going to take. He told me when I can expect results, and he's holding me accountable to it. So when you show them the solution, don't think of just your product as the solution. Instead, show them your full plan to solve the problem. So the first part of the plan is this product itself, right? So here's how the product would fit into your environment. Here's the full solution in your environment. Here's how it would integrate with your existing technology stack. Here's a custom demonstration using your use cases and your language in terms of showing you and convincing you and actually helping you believe that the product's going to work in your environment. So that's step 1, is like customize the solution. The part people miss is step 2 and 3, which is here is the implementation and training plan. So it's not just that the client believes that the product's going to work. It's, do they think it's going to work for them? So without a good implementation and training plan, okay, you're missing half the battle. You see, for every dollar spent on software, there's between $3 and $5 spent on consulting or implementing that software. So the SIs, the Deloittes, the PwCs, the Accentures, the Capgeminis of the world, they're getting 3 to 5x the amount of your annual license cost to implement this software. Okay, why? Because change is hard. You got to rip and replace systems. You got to migrate systems. You got to actually train users. So make sure you have a plan around implementation. Show them how long it's going to take. Bring in an implementation partner or have your services team come with you to really talk about how you can make the product work in their environment. And the third component is, what do they need to provide to make it successful? In other words, if they have to hire a developer or an admin, or they have to train their people, or they have a certain amount of time they need to allocate towards even working with the partner to make sure that it's set up correctly. Giving them an idea of what they need to do to be successful with the product is absolutely imperative. So again, the 3 components on showing them the plan is, how does the solution fit into my environment? How is it going to be implemented? And how are we going to make sure our team, as in the customer team, is enabled and able to take it and run with it once the product is actually put into place, okay? So to recap, I'll give you the 4 one more time. 4 steps. Step 1, become an expert on the problem you solve. Step 2, develop a point of view and teach that problem to your customers using the 5P framework that I shared. Step 3, okay, listen, assess, and understand whether your client actually has that problem. And step 4, show them your plan in detail, including the solution, the implementation plan, and what their team needs to do to be enabled on an ongoing basis and to have the resources to actually use whatever product you're selling. If you do that, you will be a trusted advisor. Clients will spend 10x what they would initially spend. Deals that are 100K would go to $1 million because they trust you and they want to go all in with you in all areas of the business. So I know that was a lot today. This is a really detailed training, but I think it's super important. I think so many people just pitch and just show up and throw up, but really when you master being an expert on the problem you solve, when you really learn how you can help clients, and when you really educate yourself, you can be in such a better position to teach them, to be knowledgeable, and to kind of have that credibility that's going to make them want to lean in and open their doors to you to really show you what their world looks like and get your prescriptions on how you would go about addressing their challenges. I'm Ian Koniak. Great to talk to you, and I will see you guys next week.